In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a virtual machine inside VirtualBox. I'll just resize this window so you can see everything. Now, of course, if you're running off the Brunix Live CD, you wouldn't be able to install something like XP or Windows 8 because there's not enough room on the Brunix stick. You'd actually have to install Brunix onto your computer. But you can install a smaller system if you want. I'm actually on Brunix, which is installed on a computer, so I can use as much space as I like. I'm just going to create a virtual machine. I'm actually going to create a virtual machine of Brunix because I need one. Oops, and of course the type is Linux. It's not Ubuntu, it's an other Linux 64. Click next. So now it's asking for how much memory. I've got quite a bit of memory. I'm going to give it 1024. Actually, I'll give it 2048 so it's a bit faster. So that's RAM. Next, it's going to create a virtual hard drive. And we'll just choose the defaults, dynamically allocated. That means that even if I make it 10 gig, it won't use up 10 gig of space. It'll only use up the amount of space that's actually used, which is good. 8 gig's fine. Right, so now we've created that virtual machine. If we click settings, we can go and have a look at storage. Now, if you had an install CD, it would show up here, but I'm actually just going to use an ISO. So we'll just go and choose an ISO. There's one there. And then click, and then it's a live CD. If you were doing Windows, of course, it's not a live CD, but there you go. You could do that. And we'll just have a look at these other settings. I'll just quickly see if there's something you should know about. No, that all looks good. No, that's fine. Right, now let's boot up the machine. Yep, it's going to start Brunix. I'll press enter. Don't worry about that stuff. So because it's running up as a virtual machine, it's not showing the Brunix logo because it doesn't recognize the graphics card because it's just using a virtual machine graphics card. Getting there slowly. Might actually make that a bit smaller just so we can see it. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just show the whole screen in the screen recording. Oh, that's sort of the best I can do. Here it goes. Right, now in this case, we do want to install the hard drive. So you click on Install to Hard Drive. Now this actually takes a while to boot up, so don't think that it's crashed or anything. It is actually about to boot up. Luckily, we've got our little equivalent of the hourglass. Okay, so it's saying welcome to Brunix. I should fix that so it says Brunix 20, but I will soon. It's got the right location. I click continue. The only thing I have to change here is the installation destination, which is the hard drive. So it's already found the virtual hard drive that I made, but what will happen is if I click done, it'll go, do you want to automatically partition it? And I go, yes. There we go. Then you go begin installation. While it's doing that, you go and change your password. So I'll just use that one there and do it again. And click done. And I'll do the same for the user. So I'll create a user. It's created that username for me, but I always use a nondescript username such as user and then give it a password. Oops, just gave it the wrong password. That's good, and click done. And as we can see, it's just about halfway through. Well, it's just over halfway through. We'll just wait for that to finish. I'll speed it up in the video editor so you don't have to wait around. Actually, I'll just resize this window so you can see everything. It does take a little while. Okay, so now it's finished. We click quit, and then we shut it down. And let's close it. Right. Before we start it up again, I'm just going to disconnect that CD-ROM. Oh, no, I don't want to choose a new one. Did that wrong. Cancel. Untick that. There we go. Remove disk. Right, so let's boot it up. Here it goes. And yes, we want to run Linux. Don't worry about that. So what we're doing now is we're actually running a virtual machine of Linux inside Linux. It kind of seems bizarre, doesn't it? It's good for testing. If you want to make some changes, you do it all in the virtual machine first, test it, and then once you know it's all right, you can go back to your installed machine and make the same changes there. If we press escape on the keyboard, you'll actually see all the messages going past. So here it is starting up the different hardware detection stuff. SysV, RPC bind. There we go, GNOME. Hopefully this will work. It's getting there. Slowly but surely. When you first boot up a virtual machine like this, it kind of has to detect things, and it does take a little bit longer, but the next time it's a bit faster. And there is a bit of a gap between the initial boot up and the GUI starting. I do need to fix that. But it's getting there. Can I resize this so you can see the whole screen? No. Oh, yes I can. Ah, it scrolls. I'll do that. Just about there. It's going slow because in my other window I've actually got it compiling a new version of Linux, so that's using all the processing power. So VirtualBox is struggling because my other window is using all the processing power. I'll cut this out. Come back shortly. Okay, so the Linux virtual machine is just booted up. If I click on my name there, I can now log in. Right, so now that I've just booted it up for the first time, of course, Linux is asking me for some default settings. I'll just click Next, 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 and start using Linux. And now we have a full virtual machine of Linux running inside of Linux. You can go full screen and stuff like that. I won't do it at the moment, just because of the system I'm running on won't like it. But that's how you boot up a virtual machine inside of Linux. And it doesn't have to be Linux. As I said, it can be Windows. If you did want to run a live version of Windows off the Linux stick, I'd use something small. You can download a copy of the Windows 98 ISO for free now because it's no longer supported, and just use that. If you really do need to use Windows, such as if you're a business and you've got some specific software, then install Linux to the hard drive and then install Windows inside that. So that's how you install a virtual machine.